next to feel as good as they possibly can about themselves and about what they're doing and what you're doing for the team. Obviously we had one of the greatest leaders in Lindsay Whalen, and right now, how much of it is truth? I think that it's probably somewhere in the middle. The Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins saga. Certainly where there's smoke, there's fire. How bad was it? I don't know. But I think it's difficult because there's so much written. That's why sometimes in the WNBA I say, be careful what you wish for, because there is so much written that, it's all we ever do is we go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is. And that's where we get our news. And there's a lot of news that's not exactly accurate. And so you can't help sometimes but to read something and go, did they really say that? And you start to get your back up. And so maybe you had a relationship where you were talking one-on-one and that it's not the truth, but then all of a sudden there's an off season and you're not in the same city, you're not in the same circles, and you start reading stuff. And then there's a big wedge that's driven between you because your confidence in the situation begins to waver. And that's what it feels like to me has happened with Jimmy Butler and Karl and Andrew. And, I know Karl wants to be great. I also know I've been around a lot of young players. Young players don't quite understand exactly what it takes. It takes them a while. Again, I'll use Lindsay Whalen as an example. She'll tell you it probably took her to year 4 before she really understood the commitment necessary and the things that you have to do. And so it's not Karl's fault. It's not Andrew's fault. You can't give somebody that experience. They have to go through it. They have to grow into it. You have to sometimes go through failure to achieve success. And, obviously Jimmy's highly competitive, and I want to be around that every day of the week because I think you need that, but how to, blend it together so that it moves as a positive force is really what we were hopeful this was going to be about for the Wolves. And it just hasn't come to fruition.
And I know from talking to people I know in the organization, talking to writers I really trust who are responsible with their reporting, I really think the Butler and Wiggins thing, there was some antipathy there. I think the Towns-Butler thing was more in the category of sometimes teammates get a little frustrated with each other, but it wasn't going to be fatal. I think Wiggins and Butler just did not see eye to eye on things. But, again, that's it. No matter how many times you talk to people, I will say this. And having been a baseball beat writer where I got to know people incredibly well, and I knew a lot of stuff that I could never write, it's hard writing about relationships because you can write something that's accurate based on your sources, based on very good information, and it can change a day later because relationships can change.
Exactly.
That's the difficult thing.
Yeah, and that's why I went to our PR person and I said, it's kind of difficult for media to get the full story when they only get to see the last 10 minutes of practice. And then you guys are expected to go out there and you're going to go write a story about maybe something that you saw or, whether it's, whatever, the way that somebody played, or you're going to report on something, you have 10 minutes of information. I said, I think we should have, an open practice so you can really understand, maybe the ebbs and flows of practice, a good day, a bad day, an in-between day. And I think, it's never going to happen, obviously, because you guys are the enemy of the people. But I think that it just would help you all, because I do think you believe in your sources, and I'm not questioning that you have great sources, but you're not fully in it, the day to day to have all the information. I know, like I said, the sources have some information. There's accuracy in statements, but it isn't, it's like me understanding, Jim, your challenges as the leader of Talk North podcast, for me to, write an editorial about the limited time that I have with you. That's what it feels like that media are forced to do because access is limited. And so you're painting the picture based on the minutes that you have with players, or relying on, inside sources that, some of these inside sources, maybe they have a beef with somebody, maybe they don't,
Yeah.
So, but I think, it's unfortunate, but, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if it's on TMZ, it's true. So I don't know how TMZ has reported on this, but But I just would like to see it cleaned up. And there's a lot of people on the Wolves organization that are really working hard, to achieve success and want success. And it starts with Glenn Taylor, and I'm really hopeful we can move in that direction again.
Absolutely. Let me once again thank Bite Squad, our newest sponsor of the Talk North Podcast Network. They deliver food from hundreds of Twin Cities restaurants. Order online at bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. And for a limited time, they're offering free delivery to our listeners on their first order by using the code TALKNORTH. One word, TALKNORTH. Bite Squad, food for your mood delivered. And we do appreciate everybody who helps us out in that way. By the way, it's your birthday, or it was your birthday this last week. I apologize. I missed the exact day.
That's okay. It was September 20th. That's okay. I was here. Who gets to celebrate their birthday in the Canary Islands? That's pretty cool. Good.
Your birthday is one day after my wife's birthday. So
well, and we talked about that. The Virgos and how wonderful we are and how lucky you are.
This is not the first time I've had this conversation.
I'm sure it's not. But it was amazing. The only difficult thing was, having my son and wife at home, and family, so far away. But, I've learned kind of through the years, my birthday falls at a time. We're usually in playoffs or, doing something basketball related. And, my dad always said it best. And I'm probably most like him when it comes to these sort of things. I'm not terribly excitable. He would say, it's just another day. That's, just another day. So people are a little bit nicer to you on that day, and then you carry on, and life's back to normal.
Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
You tweeted something out the other day about, and I'll just read the quote that was part of what you tweeted out. Companies in the top quartile for gender diversity outperform their competitors by 15%, and those in the top quartile for ethnic diversity outperform their competitors by 35%. I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah, there was a Forbes article, a terrific Forbes article, believe that I read, probably was last night. I was, taking some time and catching up on the day's news and came across that. And I have been involved with a number of businesses and doing some speaking. And we just talk about the idea of that it's something that I think that is on every company's radar. And if it's not, it certainly should be. But what I talk a lot about is that you have companies maybe that have appointed someone that it's their job to increase the diversity within a company, inclusion, make sure employees feel comfortable, in their identity, and that there aren't, whether it be women or gay people, trans people, that we have everything, right? In every company, you have them whether you realize it or not. People of color, you want to make sure that everyone is comfortable and nobody's going through difficult situations in their work environment. And what I have found with a lot of companies is that you can feel. So when I go in and I speak, I can feel whether they're genuine about diversity and inclusion. One, you can look around at who's in the room with you. If that's a topic and I'm looking around and I don't see very many people of color, and if I don't see very many women, then I know that they fall in the category of being just interested in the idea of diversity and inclusion, but not committed to. And what I tell them is it's not only the right thing to do, but it's great for business. And that's been proven time and time again. It fosters innovation, diversity of thought, fosters innovation, makes you a better company. And I just, that I just thought it was an excellent article that was written in Forbes, and I just was moved to share that.
Yeah, well, I want to make my network more diverse, so I tried to have Amelia Reyno on the network, then she left town. I don't think it was me, but it might have been me. We've had Megan Ryan from the paper on, but I can't have Star Tribune employees on my podcast because they're doing their own podcast. So I'd figure that out for myself. I need more of that. Maybe you'll have a recommendation. I'd like to keep growing the network, and as I grow the network, I definitely want more diversity and more gender diversity and more ethnic diversity. But it takes work.
It takes work, and I think that's my thing too. Is there's time frustration in our own company. We have these policies and procedures, and I say you can't say that you are committed to diversity and inclusion, and do the same thing over and over and over again. And we hire the people that look like us, because that's the easiest thing. We go, well, that's who applied. Well, in my opinion, if you're going to be diverse and inclusive, that you have to work at it. There are some times that maybe you have to go off the beaten path and say, you know what? Why am I not getting applicants that are gender diverse or ethnic diverse? I have to look at what I'm doing, and maybe I have to reach out to people that are in circles that have far more information than I do. And so, like what you just did, Cheryl, if you have anybody, let me know. And I think you have to work really hard at it, and you can't stop. You can't just say, well, no one applied. Mm-hmm. And you just do the same thing over and over again. And I see people make that mistake over and over and over again. And they will get outperformed by companies that are committed and will be willing to go the extra distance to make sure that you have a diverse workforce.
Well, we can talk more about that both personally and on the podcast as we go through the winter. Let's wrap this show up with Women's Final Four coming to Minneapolis. Tell me what that means to you.
I was so excited. I had a chance at the All-Star game to spend some time with the committee that was kind of visiting different places. And what a great time to visit Minneapolis when we were putting on the show of the All-Star game with a tremendous environment. And they got to see exactly what kind of community we have and the ways that we support our sports, and particularly women's sports. They know that when they come here for the Final Four in 2022, and the Gophers are going to be in the Final Four. I've already talked to Lindsay Whalen. She's assured me that that's going to be happening. She's got a couple of recruits she's going to nail down. Yeah. I think Lindsay tweeted, let's make this a home game.
Yep.
But regardless of whether the Lindsay Whalen and the Gophers are going to be there or not, we know this is a tremendous community for supporting events like these. And that's why we said it was important that people supported the All-Star game, because it leads to these other opportunities, and they become economic opportunities. So I'm just thrilled. I think we have a tremendous city. I've been to so many Final Fours, and I always say Minneapolis is perfect for a Final Four. I shared that with the committee. Our facility is amazing at the Target Center. Obviously, the renovation has led to many new amenities that fans enjoy. I think the teams enjoy. And then we just have so many great things in our city, and restaurants and things that you do at the Final Four. Obviously the convention stuff. But I know I just enjoyed whenever I'm in a city, I want to go and I want to live in that city for 4 or 5 days, and I want to do what those people do. And so I'm really excited to invite so many of my colleagues to Minneapolis to see the great city that it is.
It's a great place to finish. I agree with you completely. Cheryl, thanks as always for taking so much time. Sounds like you have a party to go. I think they're extending the Cheryl Reeve birthday party for the rest of the trip. That's what they're doing.
I think so.
Hey, let me say my thank you. SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com. Go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve for a free audit and meeting with Lori Ramsey, who's a friend of mine and a friend of Cheryl's as well. And again, go to BiteSquad.com, download their app, use Talk North as a promo code to get your first delivery free. Bite Squad, food for your mood delivered. Thanks, Cheryl. This is TalkNorth.com. We will talk again next week.
Go USA.
You just want to provide the best service you can. And you know marketing is vital to build your business, but it's also overwhelming and confusing. Successful Marketing Group is passionately committed to businesses, helping them get found, get customers, and build dreams. Successful Marketing Group understands your problems and truly wants to help you be successful, providing digital marketing packages with proven results. Go to successfulmarketinggroup.com/Cheryl Reeve for a free 45-minute audit and action plan. That's successfulmarketinggroup.com/Cheryl Reeve.